Oh, he believes a lot of wild things. One of them is transgender surgery for people who are under 13.
So for those out there who are wondering, aren't there something else you could be doing or doesn't seem to impact you in your life? This is what it means to show empathy. This is what it means to be welcoming.
He changed the Minnesota state flag to make it look like the Somali flag. You haven't seen that?
But our current flag is problematic. I think we all know that. We've evolved into a more diverse state, and I think it's more reflective.
Joe Rogan just tripped over something about Tim Walz so wild it makes UFO sightings look ordinary. Suddenly Walz isn't a politician anymore, he's a full-blown walking plot twist. Rogan's got enough fuel to roast him harder than elk meat on a Texas grill. This isn't politics, it's reality TV that accidentally got filmed in Minnesota. What Rogan dug up is a wild mix of comedy chaos and pure conspiracy energy all wrapped into one. Grab some popcorn, this meltdown's about to go nuclear.
Think about Walz's descriptions of his military career, because there's some issues there that people have. I don't know if he flat out ever said that he served in Afghanistan, but he certainly didn't dissuade people from saying that he was, when they were saying he didn't correct them.
Right.
There was things
he didn't.
Joe Rogan's seen some wild stuff in his time. UFOs, fake tough guys pretending they eat elk, and wellness gurus claiming kale can fix your marriage. But even he wasn't ready for Tim Walz, a politician so chaotic, he makes Minnesota look like the set of a bargain bin sitcom that lost its script halfway through.
That Tim Walz cocksucker, if that guy got into power, like if Kamala died and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, was our president, you know how crazy this country would be? That weirdo who puts tampons in the boys' room. And what about our joy? Like, he's a complete pathological liar. Like a complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square. Lied about being a fucking head coach of a football.
When Rogan peeled back the curtain, he didn't find a genius at work. He found a circus act in full motion. Tim Walz juggling chaos like a state fair clown on a sugar rush. He's perfected the art of looking busy while doing absolutely nothing. It's politics on a treadmill, all sweat, no progress, just the illusion of movement with zero direction. And somehow that's become his greatest trick.
I don't know. Tim Walz is out there talking again.
Did you say he could fight any Trump supporter?
Yeah, he says he kicked their ass, and they're scared of him because he could fix a truck. Like they're threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck. That's what he said. I'm like, do you? I bet you don't.
The lady doth protest too much.
I bet you don't.
I fear.
I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools.
That was kind of the redress, right? That was the attempt. It was like, we're gonna the symbol of masculinity on the left is going to...
Rogan couldn't help but laugh every time Walz tried to flex his leadership. It didn't feel like authority. It felt like a substitute teacher losing the class before attendance was even done. Minnesota wanted a leader, but got a dad squinting at the TV remote asking why the volume won't work. His leadership's become a full-blown family sitcom. And the laugh track doesn't even need editing.
Video of Tim Walz doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Exact same thing, and he said, of course, it's a Nazi salute. He said that.
Right.
We spent 3 days debating, having them trying to debate that President Musk gave a Nazi salute. Of course he did. But that is a distraction.
This is how crazy things have gotten.
And the wild part is Walz isn't even trying to hide it. The guy struts around like he's cracked the secret code to running a government. But Rogan caught on fast. Those so-called big ideas sound like recycled quotes from a 2003 motivational calendar, the kind you'd stare at half asleep in a dentist's waiting room. Joe didn't even need to be mean about it. He just gave that classic, "Are we really doing this?" tone, the same one he uses when someone tries to explain flat Earth with a straight face.
Interviews and there's no pushback. There's no excuse me, I didn't go to Iraq, right?
Exactly.
And I retired, as my unit was deploying. And so
we were retired a couple months before. Right?
Yes.
What is the whole story
those guys know
it?
they know that they're going, right? It's not like they suddenly get a paper, on one day. There's a build up to that, and they're aware of it. And so, even his personnel were saying, look, we all knew we were going. He knew he was going. No, okay.
What's even funnier is how Walz struts around like he's the secret superhero of American politics when half the country couldn't even recognize him in a police lineup. Yet there he is acting like he's auditioning to play president in a high school play. Rogan couldn't ignore the absurdity, because once you peel back the layers, there's no genius hiding underneath. just a guy desperately trying to look like he belongs in the big leagues while reading from a playbook drawn in crayon. Joe's specialty is digging deep, but with Walz he found the surface was the only thing keeping the chaos from spilling out on the outside. You get the polished grin and politician charm. But once Rogan started connecting dots, it looked less like a trusted leader and more like a guy who shouldn't be left alone with sharp objects. Every story led to another ridiculous twist, like peeling an onion only to find out it's just a spray-painted cabbage. One of Rogan's favorite moments was calling out how Walz preaches about leadership like it's a TED Talk, but the results look more like a kindergarten art project, messy, confusing, and somehow still proudly hung on the fridge, as if it's a masterpiece.
100% right with Tim Walz.
I know I'm doing something right when the Fox News crowd is all bitching at me like crazy. Like, I'm loving it.
That guy was almost the vice president of the United States.
Elon Musk was crying last week. Tim is being mean to me, you know, like, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that thing where it shows Obama saying, I need a vice president that's dumber than me.
He may or may not have cognitive decline problems at his age, but at her age, she's just dumb.
Biden and
I think I was saying that on your...
Picture a guy giving a grand speech about innovation while holding a flip phone. That's the exact level of irony we're talking about. Walz loves to stand tall like he's rewriting history. But what Rogan exposed is that half the time he's just rewriting his grocery list. What really cracked Joe up was how Walz carries himself like Minnesota is the heart of a global revolution when it's really just the headquarters for dad jokes and painfully awkward town halls. Walz thinks he's ruling Rome, but Joe sees a lemonade stand with bad math and way too much confidence. The people around him either buy the illusion or pretend to, because honestly, who doesn't love watching someone accidentally twister their way into power? Rogan couldn't ignore how every serious moment with Walz turns into a full-blown sitcom gag. Give him a chance to look presidential, and it becomes a blooper reel. Hand him a national issue, and he'll return it like a gift from a dollar store. Torn paper, no bow, and zero instructions. Joe joked that Minnesota politics isn't government anymore, it's a reality show that got canceled halfway through season 1. And somehow Walz just keeps bouncing through the chaos like a cartoon character who refuses to admit the cliff ended 10 steps ago.
Seen this video?
I haven't seen. Please play it.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Walz. Trump is AI generated.
No, he slaps his...
I mean, that is hilarious.
Oh, it's definitely him. This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant by the
Jamie's
government.
compromised.
On top says it's AI generated.
Riley
So
Moore
what?
fell for an AI-generated video of Minnesota government. I fell for it too. And do you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's capable of doing.
It's almost impressive, like watching someone slip on ice, but somehow never hit the ground. You can't tell if it's skill or just pure dumb luck. Walz dodges accountability like he's Neo in the Matrix, except instead of bullets, it's bad decisions flying straight at him. This is where Rogan really had fun. He tore apart the myth of Walz being some misunderstood genius. Nope, Joe compared him to an overconfident substitute gym coach. Sure, he can deliver a fiery pep talk about teamwork, but when it's time to run real plays, you'd be better off handing the whistle to a group of middle schoolers with a whiteboard. Walz keeps acting like he's playing chess, but Rogan exposed the truth. It's Candy Land, and he's still somehow losing. The deeper Joe went, the stranger it got. Walz has this wild habit of over-explaining everything, like he believes if he talks long enough the nonsense will turn into wisdom. But Joe wasn't buying it. To him, Walz's speeches sound like the audio version of those motivational cat posters, the ones where a kitten dangles from a branch under the words "hang in there." It sounds inspiring until you realize it's just a stuck cat waiting for help.
More time. I mean, they were talking about cracking down on hate speech online. Like that free speech is not hate speech. That Tim Walz guy was actually saying that.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Hate speech.
But here's the twist. Walt somehow convinces people he's relatable, and Rogan wasn't buying it. The guy's version of down to earth sounds like a marketing intern wrote it on their third coffee. Not authenticity, just improv comedy with a 2-drink minimum. Walz struts around acting like the everyman, but Joe exposed him closer to an AI bot programmed to say folks every 3 sentences. And just when you think he's peaked in awkwardness, he somehow tops himself. Joe pointed out Walz doesn't just stumble. He stumbles with pride, like it's part of the plan. Announces a big initiative only for it to collapse faster than a dollar store lawn chair. The man collects political blunders like trophies, stacking them like history might one day cheer. Spoiler, it won't. But Joe didn't stop at politics. He went after the whole vibe. Imagine Walz walking into a room, the energy shifts instantly, not out of respect, but because everyone's bracing for the accidental comedy show about to unfold. Rogan compared it to Watching someone do karaoke for the first time, confident, loud, but completely off-key. You don't want to laugh, but you just can't help it.
No. For the video of him taking down the Minnesota flag and he replaced it with the new flag that looks a lot like the Somali flag. Minnesota has a huge population of Somalis in it.
All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute.
So he gets the flag, picks it up, and replaces it.
There, that's better.
Why is that better?
Here's where the irony hits hardest. Walz actually thinks he's crushing it. That's the trick. While everyone else sees a blooper reel, Walz sees a highlight reel. Joe exposed that his real talent might be living in an alternate reality where every mistake counts as a win. Delusion turned into a superpower. Somehow it even lets him keep a straight face on camera. But Joe didn't stop there. He tore into Walz's obsession with chasing trends like a surfer who can't balance. Rogan laughed at how Walz thinks saying the right words is the same as actually doing the work. If politics were karaoke, Walz is the guy mumbling through lyrics he doesn't know, hoping nobody notices. The funniest part? How he reacts to criticism. Rogan pointed out he treats every bad headline like the universe is attacking him personally. Instead of learning, he doubles down, full of confidence like someone who misread the map, but insists the car is going the right way. Joe nailed it. Watching Walz handle adversity is like watching a guy try to fix a broken sink with duct tape. It doesn't work, but you've got to admire the effort.
In history.
It's so perfect.
And Kamala saying, I need a vice president dumber than me. It's Walz. Men have tampons.
We have a lot of accomplishment. We haven't taken adequate credit for it, frankly. We got to do a better job of getting the word out about what we have accomplished and who did it.
You got to lose because we got to break this cycle. We're getting way.
And the timing couldn't be more perfect. Joe's takedown of Walz hits right when everyone's craving authenticity. And what does Walz deliver? The exact opposite. Fake charm, awkward vibes, and a performance that makes you squirm. Rogan made it clear. Walz isn't just out of touch. He's orbiting an entirely different planet. It's not malicious. It's pure comedy. The man actually thinks he's starring in a high-stakes political thriller, when in reality, he's the comic relief everyone can't stop watching. By the end, Rogan painted a portrait you can't unsee. A politician who stumbled into fame by accident, convinced himself he was destined for greatness, and has been winging it ever since. That's why people couldn't stop laughing. Joe didn't just call him out. He exposed the unintentional comedy act that is Tim Walz's political career. From over-the-top speeches to awkward timing, dad joke policies to inflated confidence, Walz became less a leader and more a walking blooper reel. Minnesota wanted a governor. What they got? A sitcom star. And thanks to Rogan, the rest of us finally got front row seats to the show. The more people watched, the clearer it became. This wasn't a one-time flub. It was a full-blown pattern.
Complete pathological liar.
Let's be honest. There are outsiders coming into communities, stealing and moving jobs away, and making life harder for people living there. And they have names: Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square. Lied about being a head coach of a football team.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
Pathological liars. People that are habitual liars. They just lie all the time about everything. Yeah. Oh, you didn't deploy for war. You didn't. Why are you saying you deployed at war? The weapons you used in war? No. You were in war.
I plan on waking up on
November. Walz isn't unlucky. He's consistent. Every speech, every attempt at looking presidential, somehow turns into a blooper reel. It's almost impressive. Like he's spent his whole career proving that gravity hits Minnesota politicians harder than anyone else. You'd think he'd learn, but nope. He just walks proudly into the same glass door again. It's like watching a magician who only knows one trick, and even that trick fails half the time. Minnesota claps politely, but you can tell they're wondering if maybe, just maybe, they deserve a headliner instead of the warm-up act. And that's the real punchline. Walz still thinks he's killing it. He struts around, delivering Oscar-worthy monologues, completely oblivious that everyone else is watching a comedy reel. Joe Rogan didn't need secret files or hidden scandals. He just held up a mirror, and what stared back wasn't corruption or villainy, but something far funnier. Tim Walz, the unintentional comedian of politics, starring in a never-ending sitcom nobody asked for. Yet everyone can't stop watching.